What up, what up, sports fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guys, the horsemen, Zion Zenith, Adam Costas. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go! Evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. Here with my guys, obviously, Adam Costa, Zion Zenith. Man, how you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Ready for a day to talk sports. What a crazy finish to last night's game. Can't wait to talk about it. And yeah.
I'm doing well. I'd like to lead off tonight in storytelling by Adam. So, if you guys don't know out there, my son plays flag football, and I was excited for it. But a little backstory of the team. He started in, I don't know, I think it was late May, something like that, early May. Anyways, when we sign up, there's like a little combine going on. All right, everybody's trying out, running routes, seeing you. I'm like, my God, this is how serious this was. Mind you, this is a spring league. The fall league is. I'm like, I don't want to know what the fall league is like. These people are literally running time in 40s, running sprints. And these kids are like 8. I'm like, what are we doing here? Right? I mean, obviously went up to like 5th grade, but it was just funny to watch all this going on. Right after the draft too. So after the draft, a couple weeks later, here these people are with a combine. So my son went to sign up for the team because his friends were signing up from basketball. So after basketball, these guys all signed up for flag football. We all wanted to be on the same team. That's why we signed up. So the draft happens after this little tryout and everything goes. We are sitting here waiting the next couple weeks to get our team, and we notice that we're not on the same team as our friends, and we're like, that's kind of odd. What's happening here? So, but we ended up with one of our friends from the friend group that was on our team. Now, mind you, our team was named the Eagles, not my choice, not my preference. But that's what we are. And this team was the Commanders. Now, we come to find out, Commanders coach did a little manipulation behind the scenes to get all the good players, aka some of my son's friends, on the team. Little manipulation. We're like, well, first off, kind of corny because it's a flag football league, but okay, whatever. And there's only 4 teams, so it wasn't really that. So our coach got basically what was ever left, right? Not many people knew who these kids were. So here we are, coming to the season, and we played these Commanders, right? These Commanders, this team that's coming in, they're all got their flags and their uniforms, and meanwhile our guys barely have their flags together. It literally looked like Little Giants or like the band of misfit toys. Our guys are running the wrong routes. They don't know which way is up, which way is down. The Commanders are running up and down on the field on us. We're basically running one play where one father was like, "Oh, are all you guys? Are you going to only run left this season?" And I kind of chuckled and laughed. I'm like, and I'm not the coach, mind you. I'm just over here watching and observing. So we also heard this little nugget again about the draft. So some of us parents kind of loudly were talking and like, but man, it's not fair. He drafted all the players that on the same team. That's kind of BS and some shit. So he kind of came over and told us, oh, it's just how the draft fell, bro. If this was a true draft, you wouldn't have came over and apologized. You knew you did something nefarious. But whatever, bro. If you want to win in a little kids league, fine. So we sucked it up and we took our team and we started our march, right? First week wasn't that great. Second week wasn't that great. Then we win a game here, we win a game there, and then we played the Commanders. Now, the first time we played the Commanders, it was this big deal because here we are, the first time we get to play the people that kind of, awed us. Like, oh, these aren't we're the worst team in the league, blah, blah, blah. Well, we went toe to toe with these Commanders, and it was good. I got to cheer, but we noticed some tendencies on that team. They were very well buttoned up. Like, this guy took this seriously. When meanwhile, most of the league was kind of just putting together some teams. This kid just kind of want to get some burn. Then we played him again one more time. A couple weeks ago, we lost by a fluky pick six. Things happen, pick six. But if they didn't, we probably would have won. But here's some of the caveats. One, I was the scorekeeper in the game. So I'm standing there cheering my team on, and I'm kind of in the way of the clock. So instead of the coach telling me to move the clock, he kind of like smugly looks over at the ref, tells him he can't see the clock, he can't see the clock. I'm looking at this guy like, what? What are you talking about? Oh. So I move back one step, so now I can see the clock. So I'm like, oh, this is how it's going to be. Then in that game, he decides that he's a pro style offense all of a sudden. He's going to start to milk the clock. I'm like, you're milking the and he hears me because I'm on the outside complaining, like, you're milking the clock, really? Like, we're in the pros. And he kind of looks over at me and I'm like, what is this guy doing? So anyways, we lose on like a fluky interception. So now here we are. We're going through the season. Band of misfit toys again. Last night was the playoffs. And here we go. We said to ourselves, we're going to make some noise. We'll bring some noisemakers, try to jazz it up for the playoffs. Well, did we jazz it up all right? We brought noisemakers. Some mom brought this water bottle full of beads, and we started shaking them. My, spouse brought a cowbell. It was awesome. We were going nuts over there, and we were loud in the first half. So the first half we're loud, right? Just being the feeling it. The refs are like looking at us like, are they going to say anything, or is it going? And we're like, it doesn't matter, refs. Well, guess what? We got so loud to the point where this little quarterback was looking at me, staring at me, as he's mesmerized as I'm saying, go defense, shaking this loud beat thing. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I got him. I got one on the hook. So this kid is like distracted. He doesn't know what's going on. They're discombobulated. Our team is all of a sudden starting to build some lather to them. They're starting to build some confidence. We're cheering our heads off. We were cheering so loud at one point, the coach had to call timeout. He had to call timeout because we were in his huddle. It was until one time, I think we called timeout because the kid cried. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the kid got so intimidated that the kid cried, and so they called the timeout. Now I'm not trying to brag that we made kids cry. I'm just saying it was funny how these noisemakers rattled this team. This team was rattled, and mind you, they beat us during the regular season like twice on like last fluky runs. Second half of the game we played, we were so loud and obnoxious. One time we had another kid look at us. He was looking dead at me, and they ran the play anyways behind him. And the kid was coming right towards him with the ball, and he was still staring at me. Yo. I was like, we got these boys. These boys are on the hook. And so we ended up winning the game, and I was like, man, what a great feeling. We won that. We willed them to win. We were loud. We were cheering. They loved us. The other side hated us. One parent walked over from our crew, and she walked over, and she's like, oh, they hate me over there. I'm like, oh, well, they hate us as well. Now, come to find out that there's another game going on and another team playing. The two teams in the other league, the two teams in the other side of the league, only 4 teams, Miami and guess who? The Commanders. So we find out the Commanders are joining the team that my son's a part of, the Eagles. Unfortunately, the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And now it becomes personal because there's many storylines that are underlying with this Commander team, right? Things happen back in the wintertime with some folks that involved myself. A parent got mad at me and he grabbed me by the arm and swung me around, put his hands on me. I was like, whoa, never thought that would happen. I wasn't even doing anything, right? I was cheering on his son, giving his son some pointers, and I guess my voice carried. So we have his kid on the team. And now they were talking all this smack. The coach was getting all smug and getting all snippy like he's running a pro style offense because he can't see the clock. He rigged the draft. So guess what? The band of misfit toys, yeah, we're coming. We're coming for that chip because nobody had us even sniffing a Super Bowl, sniffing a playoff. I mean, obviously in the league they give you this, but if you were to tell us at the beginning of the year we were sitting in this position at the last game of the year with a chance for these kids who don't know each other, minus like maybe one kid. My son knows one actual kid on the team that's like his actual buddy he goes to school with. Otherwise, everybody else is from different parts of town or neighboring towns, right? And so it was just epic to watch these growths of these kids. But here we are. And if they thought I was loud last week, I already pulled out the megaphone. I already got the batteries tuned up. I already got the noisemaker ready to go. I'm going to bring it. I made a kid damn near cry. Guess what? I'm going to make a kid shit his pants this coming next game because we weren't supposed to be here. My son is here now. And if you go there, why lose, right? You're going there to win. So here we are, the band of misfit toys who got railroaded by the Commanders in the scrimmage game, then twice during the regular season, we have a chance to meet them for a fourth time. And I think we're due for that butt kicking. So if there are any Commander fans that are out there, any of those dads listening, probably not, just know we're coming. We're coming for y'all. And I just wanted to say that because I'm so proud of this team and where they came from and what we did as parents to kind of just cheer them on and will them to game. And it was just a lot of fun. And I didn't think when we started this journey in May, whatever it was, that my son would one enjoy it, two score a touchdown, and three be in the dang championship game. So I just wanted to lead off with that. Sorry to take time out today, but I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Appreciate it, man. That was definitely
absolutely
dope. What's going on, Clinton Jones? Appreciate you popping in, man.
Yeah, I think that was an amazing story, Adam. I think it's a good lesson for your team, right? It's like, hey guys, we may not have the best roster, we may not be stacked like those other guys, but guess what? Those other guys break the system, and as long as we practice hard and we work hard, we can still go into this playoffs and still have a shot at the championship, right? And at the end of the day, it's such a good lesson, and that's what really counts for youth, right? Youth should be all about the lessons. You don't take lessons, right? You take lessons. So the fact that you guys was deemed as the underdogs, the little giants, like you said, you guys, obviously everybody was taking it so damn serious and forgetting the fact that it was about the kids, and the fact that you guys came out there with the support and almost was an unstoppable fan base to lead the support, lead the charge. So that was an absolutely fun story. Thank you for sharing.
It made my week, so I had to share.
Doing great, Clinton, man. Doing great, brother. But guys, last night something great happened in sports last night, man. Something amazing, something we may never see again, something that we've never seen before. And I'm talking about Game 4 of the NBA Finals. This series has been intense from the start. It's been absolutely amazing. Probably the best 3-1 series I've seen that's 3-1 ever. I mean, these games have been tightly contested, and they've gone down to the wire. They've been exciting, jaw-dropping, and last night just took the cake, man. Y'all, Zion, talk to me about Game 4. Talk to me.
Yeah, dude, this whole series has been up and down. It's just been amazing to watch. We have a team in the Knicks that, I was watching the game yesterday, and I was watching with a homie, and then I'm yelling at the TV, right? And I'm like, and I know these are my people. I know these are Giants fans as well, but I picked the Spurs mid-season, and I can't really jump off the bandwagon now because they're in the finals. So I'm watching the TV, and I'm yelling at the TV saying, "What are you guys doing? You can't be doing this. This is horrendous basketball that the Spurs started playing in the second half." And my friend looked over at me. He's like, "Yo, why are you so mad? They're up by over 20." I'm like, "It doesn't matter. The game's not over till it reads 0-0-0 on the time clock because we're playing the Knicks." And the thing about the Knicks, I have to say, they are one well coached unit, and they definitely believe to be down 29 points in the finals and to motivate and to not even think, like, you could just tell the look on their faces. They, like, the whole world thought they were out of the game, right? But not them. They believed. And I can get into a lot of mistakes that the Spurs made, but let's just focus on the Knicks and what an amazing comeback that they had last night. Now, what I will say going forward, they have to close it out, right? You can't have this over exaggerated huge moment and then go and shut the bed, right? So they got 3 games. They just stole the momentum from the Spurs. Now let's see how the Spurs respond in San Antonio. They'll probably take that game, and we'll talk about that when that happens. But just focusing on last night's game. I want to deep dive deeper, but I'm gonna let Adam make his points before we do. I'm just gonna end my take by saying, "What's up, Dan? Thank you so much for joining us." And I was so happy that I got to watch that game from beginning to end, and I was glued to my TV because it's not over until it's over when you play a tough team like the Knicks, and I have a lot of shit that I want to talk about the Spurs, especially Fox. But I'm gonna let Adam say some of his thoughts about the game, and then hear your thoughts, and we can break it down. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, like Mac has said, these series have been pretty amazing. You can clearly see these two teams deserve to be here. You can clearly see these two teams were the two best teams in the playoffs, respectively, for a reason. I will say this: the Spurs, I feel like the first game, and maybe I'm making excuses for them, but first game I was like, all right, they lost because of fatigue. Game 7, okay, I understand why you lost. Up what? They were up like 24 points. Knicks came back. They kind of got worn out. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'll give you that loss. Then in game 2, Wemby throws a pass to somebody who wasn't looking, and
Yeah.
kind of cost them in a crucial moment of the game. The game technically wasn't over, but in a crucial moment in the game, that play happened. And then the games they won in game 3, they had some of those issues happen as well, but they were able to overcome that. They played like a flawless second half. There was no turnovers, nothing happened to them, right? And that's been kind of their MO, right? I think, and the one thing I will say in that game, game 3, the third quarter was huge for the Spurs bench. They outplayed the Knicks bench in that quarter to kind of preserve the win. So then come game 4. Here we are. Now, the Spurs, unfortunately for them, they didn't get out to a 40-point lead. Because if they had a 40-point lead, they'd probably win the game. But they had only a 30-point lead, which should be surmountable enough to win a basketball. But we know how this Knicks team does things, and how this Knicks team plays, and how what they've done over the past playoffs. The guy Mike Breen was saying, well, they came back from 24 down against the Cavaliers. So you're like, well, if there's one team that can do it, it sure is the Knicks. Now, in my head, I'm looking at this like this. First off, the Spurs had an historic first half, an absolutely historic first half. They broke like 3-point records in the first half. They hit so many dang threes, right?
Yeah,
They were
hit
flowing. The
14 and
Knicks,
6 for threes. They
the
hit 14
the
threes.
Knicks the Knicks look lost, which, by the way, they looked lost in every game. Every game has been the same story. The Spurs get out to this tremendous lead, and they can't hold their water. So last night, after watching this game, and I guess we're going to break it down. I don't want to break it down further than that. But after watching this game, what I realized is the Spurs are young, and the moment is getting to them, and the pressure is getting to them in these moments. Because at some point, you can make an excuse for somebody, but then you have to realize how old these kids are and what's happening and what's leading to their losses. Right? It's not like they're necessarily getting outplayed. They're just bad shot selection. There's costly turnovers. There's just things that have kept them from getting over the top that they didn't do and they didn't reflect on in game 4. Right? In game 4, they won the game, came out for 3 quarters flawless, and then the fourth quarter they collapsed completely as the Knicks chipped away at that lead. And you got to give credit where to the Knicks. I think the series is over, but I give credit to the Knicks for fighting back and winning the game, and that's why you play. That's why they say you play the games to the end, to the final buzzer, right? Because you never know. And these in the NBA, the buzzer beaters are one of the things we talk about. Well, that's why you play to the end. But I don't want to get too much. I know we're going to break it down. Those are some of my thoughts.
Awesome, man. Like, look, this is just what it is like you said. I think the Spurs are just about a year early, man. I mean, the Spurs are probably about to become a dynasty in this NBA. It's just not starting this year. That's it. I mean, I think they're about a year. They're, like you said, a very young team, but that talent on that team is undeniable. The defensive pressure they put on the Knicks and how they've been D'ing up Jalen Brunson and making every shot, making him earn everything that he's getting out there throughout this entire series, man. This Spurs team, I mean, like I said, it's just not quite their time yet, but their time is about to come. Trust me and believe that. Wemby is just, I mean, he's unstoppable out there, man. I mean, truly, when he wants to be, there's not nobody in the league that can do a damn thing about Wemby. And but this Knicks team, it's like you guys said, it's the will. No matter what, nothing phases this basketball team. And I think that's one of the biggest issue in this series is the Spurs. The Knicks are taking the Spurs' absolute best shots. I mean, they're taking their best shots and they're still battling their way back. Even though they couldn't quite make that comeback in game 3, they completed that comeback here in game 4 once again. But this team just will not quit, will not die. It's like they just won't go away, man. And if people use the word team of destiny, that's what it is. That's what we're looking at right now. A team of destiny. That's what it's meant to be. The stars have aligned. You know what I mean? And it's meant to be for the New York Knicks to bring one home, man, back to New York, man. It's been a long time, 53 years, I believe, or something like that. It's just crazy. And the atmosphere has been electric. The Garden went crazy last night. OG, I'm not even going to talk about OG quite yet. Not even going to talk about OG quite yet. And then just also in this series, I'm gonna put it out there, especially in these last couple of games, these last few games in particular, man. The officiating has been questionable at best at times. I'm sorry. Look, if you're gonna let these teams play physical, let them play physical, but let them both play physical. You can't call it one way and not be calling it the other. That's all. It's been a little lopsided in that regard. Mike Brown, after the game 3 loss at the Garden, I agree with Mike Brown, man. That to me just seems a little bit off. Where you got one team going to the line 24 times, 24 times to 8. The Spurs they're great defensively. Yeah, they're a great defensive team, but you're not going to tell me that they weren't, getting the cup, getting away with a few, man. I'm just saying.
Well, I agree with you to a certain extent, but my thing is this: the Knicks did put themselves in positions early. A lot of their bigs were doing things when you replayed them that some of them look like fouls, legitimately. Now there were some ticky tack ones I agree with, but that's the one thing that has damn near cost the Knicks is the foul trouble of their bigs, and it almost cost them in this game too with Karl Anthony Towns, where they had Mitchell Robinson and some bench player who no one's ever heard of. Well, I'm sure if you're a diehard Knicks fan, you've heard of him, but he's played like 5 games during the year, and he got like no burn, 73 minutes in the entire season. That guy got, and he's coming in here.
Whatever his name is.
I don't know exactly what it was. I think it wore 55. I think that's what his number was.
Just call him
and
off the bench.
And so to counter your point, though, I will say this: the Spurs. The interesting part about them is that they have chances to win, but they don't counterpunch very well. See, one of my analysis that I brought up with the Spurs when I was thinking about this series is they like to rush a lot of shots. Like when you watch them on fast breaks, they rush shots. They should gather themselves and draw the foul. Like there's one thing that they need to work on is that when they get that fast break, don't just jump in the air so you can get blocked, DeAndre Fox. Like don't just jump in the air, Ron Harper, Jr. And just Dylan Harper, like you're just jumping in the air and these guys are blocking your shots, which if you're a good shooter like a Reggie Miller or an Allen Iverson or something like that, who's going to run down the lane, the first thing is what I'm doing is a head fake. So you jump into me and then I'm jumping and drawing the foul, right? Whereas you're running down there and trying to outrace him, the guy's in your back hip and he gets you. And I think when the Spurs don't rush, like everything, they're fine. When they rush and they kind of get flustered and they we have to score real quick, and then you end up doing what they do, and then they take untimely threes. I thought in the third period and in the early fourth, they really took a lot of three pointers that were they were open, but you were hot, but you should have probably taken a few steps forward and made them easier jump shots because at that time you didn't need to take threes. You were up by 15. All you needed to do was hit a couple shots and keep the lead going, fluctuating from 15 to 20, 15 to 20, 15 to 20, right? You didn't. You were taking these long threes, and those were working for you in the first half. They weren't working in the second half. And I feel like that's what they didn't make an adjustment. They made an adjustment too late. And I think also the one thing that I see is Wemby. I like Wemby, and I think he's going to be an amazing player. 2 things that bother me about Wemby. One, I think he gets into his head a little bit in terms of trying to do too much. The guy needs to know his strengths. Tack the rim, be a menace out there, and learn your angles properly. Because while he does do some great things, there's some things that he leaves out there. Right? Guys are running by him defensively. don't give up that. You are too big to always recover. I understand you're using your body and your length to come back, and that's part of your allure where like I'm going to sucker this guy in, he's going to run by me, and then bam, I'm going to block him on the boards. What he needs to do is start to get his foot speed a little better. I know that's asking a lot for a 7-footer, but be able to be a little bit more decisive in the fourth quarter as well. He's made a lot of mistakes where he's thrown the ball away to somebody who wasn't looking, or he didn't quite finish at the rim where he could have finished at the rim. And I know he's getting tired because he has to basically play 40 minutes a game because without him, his team collapses because there's nobody in the middle and no one's afraid. Impact is so sweet. Like this off season, because he's going to have an off season. He's so my point for is when he does get in the off season, work on that jump shot, work on that clutch moment, and also work on not being a dirty player. Okay, you're doing a little bit of dirty shit, and I want to have him have integrity, but pushing Brunson, adding elbows. I know they play a little bit dirtier in EuroLeague, but that's going to come back to bite you, especially a guy that lengthy, right? Where guy can come under you, put his foot under you. You're gonna, these are the type of things that people see, and you're gonna get a bad reputation, and then the league is gonna start to find you, and you'll never win, and you'll never be the player that you want to be because everyone thinks you're a dirty player. So they got a lot to be desired. The one thing I would do in the offseason for the Spurs is I don't know if I want to keep DeAndre Fox, but we'll talk about him in a minute. But you need another person off the bench, a big that can do more than Cornette can do. Cornette does a lot, but he leaves a lot to be desired. And that second team doesn't have much spunk without Harper, but Harper's going to get elevated to the starting lineup next year. He's that good, right? I don't know if it's going to be Fox's job. I don't know if it's going to be Champagne's job. But what I would do if I was Coach Mitch Robinson, I would switch them. I'd put that Champagne kid on the second unit, and I put Dylan Harper in the starting lineup right now, out the gate. Why? Because I want to pressure defense. I need to score at all 4 positions on the floor, right? And I need a guy that's going to also attack the rim and allow, because I think if you put him with Fox, him driving to the hoop will allow Fox to be open to make his little mid-range jumpers, right? And that's where he kind of thrives. And, I think he's also a little bit injured, but I won't get into Fox. But those are a couple of things that I see with the Spurs.
Well, let's talk about Wemby real quick. Since you brought Wemby up, and some of the questionable things that he's gotten away with throughout this series. The fact that even last night when he elbowed Cat last night, they had to review that. What do you need to review it for? You don't know that's a flagrant foul. These are the things like that, like you said, pushing Brunson down the way he did, and then even that offensive foul they reviewed and reversed last night on Cat. Wemby could have easily pulled his arm up out of there at any point in time when Cat was driving to the lane. He hung it in there, looking back at the referees like, make this call. Like, no, come on. This is why this is part of the problems I have with the NBA. To me, that's just bitch made shit. To me, that's weak. That shit was weak. And the fact that they gave him the benefit of the doubt and put Karl Anthony Towns in foul trouble that early in Game 4 last night was absolutely ridiculous to me. Even that first foul that he got against De'Aaron Fox down at the beginning, right out on the first day of possession, that shit was weak too. But damn, I lost my train of thought for a second. Hold on. Let me get it back. It's just to me, Wemby's been getting away with murder. Personally, I think he's been allowed to be a little more physical than they allowed the Knicks to get, man. And I think Karl Anthony Towns had that amazing Game 1, and then ever since then, it's just been like now all of a sudden you're calling this, that, this little ticky tack shit here, this little ticky tack shit there, and I think that's kind of, it just looks a little suspect to me, in my opinion. I don't know. To me, I don't like it just looks suspect. It looks like the fix is in a little bit. It just seems like
but that's the greatest part about the Knicks, right? They're overcoming that sort of those I guess fixes, as you would call it, right? I don't know any other term to do it. That's how good they are. Because other teams probably would succumb to those, issues. And Wemby, Wemby. I like Wemby. I really am. I want to like him, but after you talk
Yeah,
about that, it makes me
yeah,
think the NBA kind of is rigging it because of competitive nature. Because if you think about it, they made that flagrant one against Brunson against him, and then they do this flagrant one, he'd be ejected, right? So now the whole series is turned on its head, and the NBA can't have that.
Right.
yeah. That's the way I look at it too. I mean, like, I'm not like, I think like, yeah, he's getting away with a lot of shit, and it should be called on both sides. But the Knicks are overcoming it, but they shouldn't have to be in a position to overcome it. I think there's some calls that shouldn't like be called. And yeah, if he gets one more flagrant, he's going to be suspended 1 game. So like at the end of the day, it's probably going to go different. I kind of I look back at the Spurs versus OKC and how much OKC, how much like people could say that the refs was fucking on OKC side throughout that series, and the Spurs overcame it. And then look at the Knicks, they're overcoming it. I'm not trying to get off that subject because we can come back to that subject because I think you're absolutely right on that subject, Mac. And I'm not trying to take that, but I just think to fall off of what you guys were saying earlier, I think the Spurs they don't know how to close basketball games, right? Adam laid down like everything, and I want to touch on that too. To start off the game, yes, you can say some of that's not fouls, but Towns need to do a better job at not. I know it's we just got that subject, but not putting his team in a predicament where Mitchell Robinson has to come on the court because that guy is a total bum. And like, yeah, he had a good series. He shows up sometimes, and then he just disappears. And he needs to be more physical. I like to call Mitchell Robinson a definition of a soft center. He's like an 8-10. I mean, like, use your body, get more physical. And with Towns out, that what kind of led to, with Towns not being on the court,
Well, he's
what kind
also
of led to
injured.
that is true. But at the end of the day, Towns been a big throughout his career to get into foul trouble. Not so much as other bigs, but he is up there. And like I'm not trying to call out Towns. It's not his like go on the game. But what I'm trying to say is going forward, like I want to see him like stay on the court. Get into the game itself with the Spurs. They were legitly just out coached the second half, and I don't know where the coaching went in the second half. I blame the coach. I blame the players. I mean, like, what are you doing having Victor on the perimeter and not in the paint? And why are we taking so much threes? I mean, like, you guys are literally up, and you're literally like missing 8 threes in a row to spark the flame to have a great one by the Knicks. I don't get that bad basketball in the second half, and we can tie into this bad basketball overall of Fox. I mean, like you're on a 4-year, $225 million contract, and you're playing like shit. You're greedy at times where you need to slow it the fuck down. And like, there's so much mistakes he's making as a team. I look at the series and I look at obviously the Knicks are the better team because they're winning. But I look at it as like the Spurs are the better team. They're just beating themselves. There's so much times Adam laid down a lot of points earlier that the Spurs had it, and they're just beating themselves with these stupid mistakes. When you even look at Fox going for that layup and not holding onto the ball, you hold onto the fucking ball, you win the game. You win the game if you hold onto the ball. They have to you're gonna go to the line. Victor before him missing crucial free throws, given free throws. It's like what Adam said earlier. It's about the pressure getting into his head. The Spurs are making so much mistakes later on in the game and not knowing how to close. And what does that come down to? Mac laid it out. The youth. I think I understood his point as a basketball fan. If the Knicks was playing anybody else, I would pick the Knicks. But like I said, I'm sorry not to rinse and repeat. I picked the Spurs early on, so I have to follow them. But I agree with 100% on what Max says. Dude, Victor's 22. Castle's 21. Harper is 20. The veteran on that team is Johnson, and he's 26. That's the veteran. So the youth, there's 19-year-olds on that team. The team average age is 22. So there's so much youth on that team, and yes, they're going to be a dynasty, but that's what comes with progress, right? That's what comes with a team on the other side of the spectrum, like the Knicks, that's been getting better each season for the last 5 years. They're making it a step forward, Like Max said, destiny. They're finally the veterans. They know. Yeah, everybody may count us out. We're down by 29, but we don't, right? They know how to win basketball games. The Spurs do not know how to win basketballs. They know how to take the lead. They know how to get it, stay in the basketball game, but they don't know how to close a basketball game, and that's the problem. And I'm gonna end it passing it over to you guys talking about Fox. Okay, number one, you go for the stupid layup, which is stupid. Number two, why are you going? Why are you going to help out on Brunson when Victor can easily? Okay, I get it. You don't want him to shoot a three, but Victor, just stay on your man. Stay on your man. Because guess what happens? You're not on your man, and OG comes in and boom. Now the Knicks take the lead. Like stupid. It's just stupid basketball.
Well, that was bad coaching because they decided to not have anybody. Because I thought about it like that this last night. If you have anybody guarding inbound, I don't think they win the game with that shot. Right? I think the Knicks. I think we're talking about a 2-2 tie right now because the Spurs grab the rebound.
Yes.
Harper grabs the rebound and the game is over. But because they had the strategy of not guarding the inbounder and double teaming, Brunson or whomever, I think it was Brunson, it allowed for Anunoby to have a clear shot to the basket uncontested. And he just kind of throws up there. Now he reached for the stars in the heavens and he kind of pulled that down. It was a miracle shot. I mean, I didn't think that was going to happen once Brunson missed. I didn't think that he was going to fly in. I'm like, oh, the Spurs are going to win because, but where's Wemby? Wemby's not down there. He should be. The fact that Wemby wasn't under the rim is also, mind-boggling.
Mind-fucking, yeah.
Your biggest guy on the floor is not in the lane. I would have been like, I'll take the defense 3 seconds or whatever the heck they're going to call. Just get your ass down there. Because again, I don't think OG makes that shot with Wemby in his way. Right? I don't know if Wemby comes down with the board, but his body might have to contort a little differently, and it's not as, I wouldn't say easy of a shot, but it's less direct to the rim. You know what I mean?
He had a full speed from the three-pointer, just boom, boom.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So what I'm saying is like he had a clear lane. If there was somebody in there, who knows what will happen? Maybe it does go in. But the point was a lot of young mistakes being made by this team in general. If this team, like, I know Greg Popovich is out of it, but I thought about this one day. I was like, man, if Greg Popovich couldn't have a conversation, because I know he's ailing a little bit. If he could write down notes, I would have went up and picked his brain and said, hey, how do I defend this Knicks team? Give me some pointers because I'm running your team. I took over for you because of your health reasons, and this is your direction. And it looks like at times like a Greg Popovich team. However, there are times where they're not. Greg Popovich would have never have had these mistakes happen in this moment. If Greg Popovich was the coach, I think it's 3-1 the other way with Greg Popovich, right? Because I don't think he'd have a buttoned-up team. He'd have a good rotation. He'd know how to counterpunch better, and he'd have his team ready for moments.
Basketball to someone's fucking back.
Well, yeah, but like DeAndre Fox did that too. Like, what was he doing? Like, these guys aren't looking. And it's funny because you practice with people and you're supposed to get a report. That's why you have practice. We talk about it all the time. Like, oh, Jackson Dart, with Isaiah Likely, they're getting reps. This, that, and other thing. DeAndre Fox, I expected more from you, man. I knew you were a star in Sacramento. You made a costly turnover, 2 costly plays. The layup that was missed, I have no idea what you're doing. You're not a big dude. Just stop your feet, hit the brakes, and let him run into you. And you're going to the free throw line.
I thought he said in an interview, Adam and Mac, I thought I could outrun him. You win the game if you hold on to the basketball, force them to foul you. What is going on? Like,
right. It was a move that will probably cost them a championship. Now, let's kind of put a bow on this real quick. The Knicks can't snooze, right? Like, I don't care about game 5 in the building. Win the game. Win it. I know closeout games are one of the hardest, but don't let this series even teeter on the brink of possibly going 7. Don't let it teeter. Don't give them the opportunity to come back into your building where they're not afraid. If they win game 6 or game 5, right? I'm not saying the Spurs are going to win game 6, but the Spurs have already come into Madison Square Garden and have major leads in this building, right? And they've won 1 game in this building. Don't allow them to feel comfortable and say, okay, let's get back into this series, right now. End their life right now. You basically had 3 miracle victories, right? Let's be honest. Legitimately, the Knicks probably should have won only one of the games that they played, right? It was mistakes down the stretch by the Spurs in 2 games and almost a third game as well in the win where they have fallen apart. And yeah, if this and Buster Cans and nuts every day would be Christmas. My point is, it really was a play here, play there that changes the tide. That's what they made. Remember, in game 3, they made that big castle shot, right? The fall away jumper for 3. And then he made 2 clutch free throws. That was the difference. DeAndre Fox makes a play. Wemby hits those free throws. We're talking about a different ball game. So my point is, if you're the Knicks, don't let them have a pulse. Go into their building, end it real quick, put them out of their misery, and bring the trophy home and have your parade on Tuesday.
Here's the thing, though. I think you're gonna get a victor. That's because you always, after a loss, you always comes out stronger, right? 8 points in the second half doesn't cut it, right? Coaching needs to get better. Team wise needs to get better. I want to let Matt talk because he hasn't talked for a while. But that being said, I had them going back 2-2. And like I legitimately said that before they even played game 1 at Madison. I said everybody's thinking they're gonna come in and close it, but the Spurs are they're a tough road team. And even though it's Madison Square Garden, you know, that's a tough team to beat. Obviously, the Knicks lost one, and then they were supposed to lose another one. But on the miracle game, I'm so happy I was alive to witness it. It's going to go down in history as one of the greatest comebacks of all time, and then obviously one of the greatest comeback in the finals history. But now you're going to get a Spurs team that now is going to hunt you in game 5, and you guys need to Knicks need to close it. I mean, like, don't even come back to Madison Square and close it, because I think the Spurs are going to be really, really tough to beat at home. They need to take game 6. Don't make this go to game 7, because if this go to game 7, I mean, like, don't give them that chance. You guys have 3 games to do it. Close it out. Right over to you, Matt.
Look, I'm gonna just go back real quick before we wrap this whole Spurs Knicks thing up. Got to move on a bit, but my biggest issue with Mr. De'Aaron Fox, man, what really bothered me the most about the whole situation is he's the veteran guy. He's supposed to be the guy that's not making those kind of mental mistakes down the stretch in clutch situations like this. He's the guy that this Spurs team depends on to be that leader. I mean, we obviously know Wemby is the best player on the team for obviously. But, I mean, Fox is pretty much the second best guy. I mean, he's been their second best guy all season. And at this point, these are the moments that he's getting paid that big money for. And it's disappointing to see him making those kind of errors. I mean, that's just basic basketball 1-on-1 right there at the end of that game. You don't go up. You don't need to score right now. What you need to do is dribble the timeout or force them to foul. But going to the basket, that's just stupid. It doesn't matter. I thought like that. That was the stupidest shit I heard. Because what are you doing? That's basic basketball 101. It's just, to me, in the turnovers, like, I mean, he picked a hell of a time to have his worst game of the series. He picked a hell of a time to do so. I mean, he's really been strong in the last couple of games, in games 2 and 3. He was really strong for this Spurs team. Last night, he shit the bed, for lack of a better terminology. But as far as game 5, look, the Knicks got ice water in their veins, man. Look, they've taken the Spurs' best shots. They've literally been battling, in my opinion, the Spurs and the officials throughout this series. And yet here we are, Knicks still up 3-1. There's just no way, and you're convincing me that the Spurs are just all of a sudden just going to rip off the next 3 games. Not saying they can't do it. They're obviously talented enough to do it. But you're not telling me that bag of goods. It's just not. You're not going to convince me that the Spurs is getting ready to knock this Knicks team off 3 straight games and win this series. I just can't see that happening. This Knicks team is just they're determined. They're dialed in. They're focused, and they've been doing all of this with Mikal Bridges having his absolute worst series of the postseason by far. I mean, Bridges has been basically
definitely on the back of a milk carton. Bridges
basically invisible. He's been basically invisible. got himself into big time foul trouble in that game 3 where he got into the big foul trouble early. And then in this last game here, also last night, sure, he's still providing what he does on the defensive end of the court, but yeah, this Knicks team is just resilient, man. It's the bench too. It's the bench for me. The bench is also. I can't say enough about Alvarado, Shamit, these guys coming off the bench, man. I can't say enough about the effort you're getting from these guys, man. I can't remember the other kid's name, but he's been coming in and giving this team a spark in the last couple of games too over here in the Garden. Whatever, Coolio or whatever the hell his name is. I can't remember, but
the long dreaded guy.
That guy.
The dreads. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But that's another been a big difference in this series. Is the Knicks, the productivity off of the bench. Alvarado was playing like a big man out there, man. Little ass point guard getting it in, man. Tough as nails, man. But I think this series is over. Whether the Spurs save face and go out there and get one in San Antonio on Saturday night, I still think it's academic, man. I think there's just no way I see this Spurs team ripping off the next 2 straight.
I'm never gonna say never, but let's just end it, right? Don't give it a thought in their mind, because it only takes a thought of them winning and going back there and say we've had success in this building, we've won in this building, and let's say they decide to put it together again and have a great game. Because you got to think like this: when you're in basketball, if they win Game 5, Mitchell Robinson's going to go in Game 6 like, guys, we have a chance to get back into the series. Let's win and go 3-3, and then it's all on us, right? And I'm not saying you're wrong in that, but the Knicks have had let's be real, they have struggled in these 4 games at the beginning. So they somehow are resilient enough to come back, and I do think it's, one, their resiliency, but 2, the inexperience of the Spurs and their not understanding the clutch moments of what to do, right? Not taking 3-point shots, attacking the rim. Even some of the announcers were like, you got to attack the rim, and they stopped attacking the rim in the late third, early fourth. And then when they started to do it and getting fouls, they were getting fouls, and they were able to go tit for tat and get the lead. And then they just kind of fall apart. So what I'm trying to say is I agree with you, they're a team of destiny. Don't give any chance to these officials to extend the series or any way of them extending it. Because even if they win Game 5, let's just say the Spurs take Game 5. If I'm the Spurs, I already know I can win in Madison Square Garden. I already did it once, right? So all I need to do is beat them and somehow make it work. And let's say Wemby has a great game, and they dunk it on everybody, and actually they close out a game, right? Or somebody goes down, Brunson gets hurt again, pulls a groin muscle or something. You just don't want it to linger around. But do your business, get it done on Game 5 on Saturday night.
I think it would be in their best interest to just wrap it on up, but like I said, we'll see.
Absolutely, they better. Don't let it go back to Madison Square like Adam laid it out.
Because
anything's possible.
Let's play it out, right? Let's say they went 2-2, right? So now we're talking about the Knicks possibly losing the series because they let them hang around, right? Because now they were up 2-0, they lost 2 back-to-back games. Well, again, if I'm the Spurs, the things that made me lose this game were errors from me in the game, missing free throws, missing turnovers. Like if I clean a couple of those up, and have, like, let's say they have 14 turnovers. I think they had like something like 14, 16. Let's say they get 10, right? And those 4 turnovers they didn't have lead to buckets on the other end. That's 8 extra points that they didn't have before, right? And less points that the Knicks had an opportunity to get. And that's so I'm going to end it here. I don't want to harp on, hey, the Knicks are a team of destiny. Don't give this team any more opportunity to believe that they can win.
Well, all right. Let's get to that. Let's change gears, though, man. Talk a little New York Giants football before we get up out of here. New York Giants, man. Had their mini camp this week. Once again, just hearing a lot of good chatter. Some good things. Hearing some good things about the veteran receivers that brought in a week ago. Hearing some good things. Arvell Reese, amazing things. Arvell Reese, people just in awe of just when they look and see the linebacking core of Arvell Reese and Tremaine Edmonds. And Abdul Carter with a little sprained ankle from over here is not nothing. too serious. So hopefully he should be ready to go training camp, no issues. But Zion, man, what's your thoughts on some of the New York Giant chatter, man?
Yeah, I'm just excited, for the season. I can't wait for August. I can't even wait to watch preseason games. I've never been excited for a Giants team in a really long time. I was several years ago because our roster looked so great on paper, but I truly believe that with this coaching staff and I think we ascended that some heck of teachers, right? When you look at the people that's going to be in the room, the people that's task is to assemble this game plans for these games. The schedule makers kind of got us coming out the gate awesome with two back-to-back primetime games with Monday night at the Rams and then obviously opening with Dallas. That being said, though, I'm just super excited. I love the fact that nothing. Don't want to jinx anything, but we're not hearing anything like we did in recent years. Everybody's remaining healthy and looking at these rookies. I love how they're performing. I think they're gonna be a big addition to this roster and come up straight out the gate. Obviously the rookies are gonna have to learn, but I honestly think that this defense has the opportunity to be really really great. And I know I said it in years past, but I think we didn't have the right coaching in the building. And on both sides of the football, including the special teams, we now do, and it's all led by a future Hall of Fame coach. And then when I look at the wide receivers we brought in, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, they're competing, they're camp bodies, and it just brings more competition, right? These are veterans that these young receivers and even young players can pick their ears, can talk to them, you know what I'm saying, and just establish connections. And I just love how fun New York is right now, right? We have the Knicks winning. We have just the city feels alive, right? When sports are doing good in the city's always alive. But it's the NBA, the NFL is always better with New York teams winning. And when I look at us, I've been watching a lot of Giants content that they've been releasing, just having fun. It's good to see ex players come and talk to the team, some legends. You know what I'm saying? I know we had that in the past, but this year just feels different. The whole culture. I know that's a cliche word to use, but I feel like we're actually building a family. Not just a team. I think we're actually building a family. It was fun to see videos that the NBA released on their timeline on their YouTube channel of. Jackson Dort, Scatterboo, Theo Johnson, a couple of Giants players attending last night's game and seeing the excitement when Brunson rebounded in and dunked that shit in. I love to see like them hanging out and going to dinners and even OBJ. Treating all the wide receivers to a dinner. You know what I'm saying? Just connections, the connections that this team is building, the bondship that this team is building, and I'm always one to set high expectations for this team, but in recent years, I try to have none because I'm only going to get let down. But this year, I really feel like this has a chance to be something special, and seeing the Knicks and seeing the Gordon for these young players is probably an inspiration, right? They want to come in, they want to win games, and why not continue it on to football season? Why does it have to stop? Let it continue on to football season, and let's bring back New York sports. Go right ahead, Adam.
Well, I will say this. I do think the injuries have hit us a little bit hard. Just they have been a lot of backup players so far. But let's hope the trend doesn't keep continuing in that direction. But there have been some injuries going forward. But you should feel excited. I was on a space recently. I think it was this week, last week. Pardon my, recollection. A little under, some edibles, right? So they kind of mess with your brain. But I think I was on this space. And I was having a discussion with people about the coach and the team, and they brought up something that I thought was interesting. Right, we were talking about the receiving corps specifically, and the gentleman brought up, well, Jalen Hyatt might make the team, and the floor like dropped. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, think about it. Everybody's got a clean slate now, right? It's not like they're judging him on the previous few years. This coaching staff gets to said they're coming in. Everybody has a chance to make the roster. And then I started hearing Jalen Hyatt's name pop up in practice a little bit and make a couple catches. And like maybe I'm not saying he's going to make the team, but it was just an interesting perspective on what they're looking at and who might make a team. Right? If it does come down to the wire, do they decide, this guy provides the speed, I can work with him, yada yada yada. Then me and Mac had a discussion last week trading some players, right? Darius Slayton to me is the most trade value veteran that you have on this team.
Yeah,
So if you got a guy like OBJ doing well, right, that bodes well for your team because now it makes a guy like Darius Slayton expendable because I don't need to pay him a high salary for a guy that's going to be a diminishing asset for us because we're going to get younger at the position in the next few years anyway. So that means he's probably not going to be here next year, or not get as much run because they're going to reconstruct the receiving core. If Mooney has a good season, they'll probably re-sign him at a cheap, couple year contract, right? And then you have Calvin Austin. If he does well, they might bring him back. And then you have Malachi Fields in the draft next year is going to be loaded at wide receiver, and not to mention free agents. So I'd rather strike when the iron's hot. So if a guy like OBJ or Schuster is able to push a guy like Darius Slayton off the roster in terms of a trade value, that's what you can do. And maybe that'll push somebody else. Maybe you can also trade a Jalen Hyatt for a 6th or 7th round pick as well. Some team, especially if he's doing well in this preseason, then they start to have, they start to feature him, or maybe he makes some plays. Like, look out for that. It's good to have an abundance of players like that. As for excitement, my excitement is through the roof. I asked somebody this question. I challenged them. I said, who is the best coach in the NFC East? I mean, you can't tell me that you trust Brian Schottenheimer over John Harbaugh. You can't tell me that you trust Nick Sirianni over John Harbaugh. And you can't tell me that you like Dan Quinn, who everybody beats like a dead horse all the time, no matter where he goes. You can't tell me that you trust him over John Harbaugh. So where does that leave? That leaves the Giants with an opportunity where last year they couldn't close out games. I think they'll have a more competent coaching staff, which will allow them to close out that games, which leads me to believe they have a chance to win this division, folks. They have a chance to steal this division because, the Cowboys, are the Cowboys. They never really are. They're a tease. If they're good this year and they're the one team that I can see making a jump because of some of the free agent additions they've made, that would be the team. But what's to say the Giants can't do it, right? Because you got to be honest. The Eagles went like 11-6 last year or something like that. We're not talking about a monumental feat to go 11-6. I mean, hell, the fucking Panthers went 9-8 last year and won a division. And I'm not saying all the divisions are going to
Jacksonville
be
won
that.
13 games last season.
Who?
Jacksonville.
Right. Well, true. And they weren't even the top in their division, right? But that's not the division we're talking about. We're talking about the NFC East. My point is that they to obtain the NFC East, you're not going to need more than like 10 wins to probably get there because everybody's playing the same brutal schedule. Everybody's playing a lot of these teams like the Rams and Seattle and a couple of these. So who knows if they're going to beat up on each other. Plus, again, they're going to beat up on each other. We don't know how Jaden Daniels is going to. A lot of question marks with the Commanders. There's turmoil brewing with the Eagles, and the Cowboys are, well, let's be honest, the Cowboys. The only team that I feel has done pretty well and has been in the news, but seems to be trending in the right direction, have been the Giants. Now we'll see if these headlines, stop happening because, I don't, even if they're positive, the more you talk about a team, the more they get on people's radar. You tend to not fly under the radar. People tend to notice you more, and the Giants have a lot that's been going on their radar that's putting a lot of spotlight on them from John Harbaugh, from OBJ, from Malachi Fields. Will Jackson Dart make the leap next year? How will this defense fare? Like there's a lot going on, right? And then you go to Cowboys, you look around and there's Cowboys, they're humming. The Eagles, they're doing what they're doing. Their headlines aren't as big, but they did have a big trade, right? And then you have the Commanders, who I don't even know what the hell they've done outside of the draft, right? Like what have they really legitimately done? And they're not even really in the news, right? So, I like the good headlines. I'm very excited, and I think they have a chance to steal this division. The one thing that does concern me is sometimes too much distraction can lead to distraction on the field. So I hope that this coaching staff, when they go to West Virginia for training camp, can weed out all the people they need to weed out, and we get this thing rolling. And don't be bashful, people. If we lose the Cowboys opening night, it probably won't be because we are a shitty coach team. And by the way, we're going to have a rookie kicker playing that game.
Certainly looks that way. What's going on, Alex, man? Thanks for popping in, bro. Always a pleasure, man. But Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Dominic Zabato, man. I'm glad you brought up this kid. This kid apparently is just absolutely killing it. It's been killing it all spring, man. I mean, they've already felt comfortable enough to release Jason Sanders, and right now he's absolutely just destroying Ben Sauls in the competition early. As far as right now goes in the spring, man. So you're right, man. He made this one a rookie kicker out there, man. Who knows, man? This kid's as good as advertised, man. They had a kicking problem could be solved in New York for many years, man. Hopefully, but
Well, it's interesting you say that because I don't think I would have gotten rid of Sanders. I probably would have gotten rid of Sauls first, right, and then let the kid earn it over the rookie because well, I like this kicker, and they did this in Baltimore. Apparently, they did the same thing. They kind of brought in a young guy. I want the pressure moments. That guy Sanders has been in pressure moments, right? He's had some pressure kicks. He's been in the NFL a little longer, and just because you can kick 60-yard field goals in great weather in MetLife, right? What happens come winds, let's say at night at MetLife Stadium that are different than the wind on the practice field? You know what I'm saying? So
well,
I hope it works out. This guy's got a boomer of a leg, and maybe that'll help us offensively.
well, I mean, John Harbaugh kind of did explain that his thought process into that why Sanders was the guy that he let go. His thought process kind of leaned towards the fact that he felt like Jason Sanders' leg is not necessarily cut out for kicking in MetLife Stadium. I mean, that's flat out basically what he said, something to that effect. Like he just doesn't.
Well, that's good then. I mean, I didn't listen to the interviews like you have. I haven't been that caught up, but that's good. That's good then. You know what that is, Mac? That's coaching.
So he also said like if anything, if we need him, if he's still available, we can always bring him back.
He's not. The Jets already scooped him up,
Oh, there
which
you
is
go.
fun. Which is funny. Which is funny.
Yeah.
That
The Jets, the MetLife
scooped
Stadium.
him up.
He
But
can't kick at MetLife Stadium, and he's
but
not
hey,
kicking MetLife Stadium.
hey, Aaron Glenn and the company see it a different way, I guess. Whatever, you know what I mean? Look, that's what I mean. Is they're paying attention to detail. Though. That's what got me so excited for this season, man. Mini camp, like I said, it's in the books, and I can't wait for these guys to go to West Virginia for training camp because that's going to be where it's going to really all come together. Out there in West Virginia, out in the sticks, all they're going to have is each other, man. It's going to be like that Remember the Titans moment, man. Like when they were down in Gettysburg, just away from everything, and you just come together as a way of bringing you together, man. You guys, like you said, they're going to be eating every meal we share, eating every meal with each other pretty much. Hanging out, nothing, like I said, nobody but themselves, man. And they're going to be able to focus on nothing but football, which is what brings me to our number 5 overall pick, man, our first round draft pick, Mr. Arvell Reese. This kid, man, this kid's so impressive. He impresses me not only on the field, but off the field, just the way he carries himself, his demeanor, the fact that he is absolutely locked in. He is locked in. When they were talking to Arvell Reese and they asked him about what he did after he signed his contract, what did he make a big purchase? He was like, I went back to the hotel. Went back to the hotel and got ready for practice tomorrow. The next day, like just like that, like that's it. He said, I already got a car. He said, I got a place. I got an apartment. He said, I'm good. You know, he's like, this kid is dialed in, man. He is all about football, man. All about ball. And you can't. I can't imagine any way that this kid's gonna be a bust. I just can't see it. This guy, man, the things you hear about him practice and running
Defensive rookie of the year
coverage with the running backs down the field in practice. It's
I'm going
amazing
on a limb.
things I'm hearing about him, man. Absolutely. I'm right
I'm
there
going
with
on a
you.
limb. Premium takes. I'm probably going to reveal this for our NFC show that we're going to do, but I'll do a spoiler. My defensive rookie of the year is going to be Arvell Reese. And I'll leave it at that. And me and Mac, when we get to our show and we discuss our things and kick off the season and give our awards, you're probably going to hear that again. But I'm saying in the entire NFL, not just the Giants, I'm saying the NFL, I am going on a limb and going to say, and I've never done this, but I believe in this, in what he's doing. I believe in where they're putting him, and is not going to come in on the sack numbers. So if you're looking for him to be a double-digit sack guy, that's not what he's brought in here for. He's brought in to be a 150 tackle guy, and a 6 sack guy, and tackle for loss kind of guy, and a weapon out there. on the field, a guy that can blitz, bring home on the like. We haven't had a linebacker blitz. I don't even know how long. A guy that's going to run a damn running back over. That's when he comes in the backfield, right? I'm not talking about because there's different responsibilities for an edge rusher to a linebacker. I think you're going to see this guy when the end of the season comes out, and maybe the Giants are in the playoffs, maybe they're not. Let's hope they are. But come season honors, this kid's going to get an award, an NFL award.
Absolutely agree.
Now you're gonna be lined up next to Tremaine Edmonds. You gotta go worry about Tremaine Edmonds as well. This defense has potential to be really good.
It absolutely does, but I still want to see it first before I buy. Right. Before I buy all the way in, I got to see it first. But
like, also, Matt got bitten last year with that.
Yeah, I absolutely did. But speaking of defense, man, Denard Wilson, the job he's doing, not only just with the defense in totality, but the secondary unit, the things that I've been hearing about that group as well. And one particular player, man, that is surprising to me to hear all the rave, all the great things I've been hearing about one Mr. Deonte Banks throughout the whole spring, man.
What? The second teamer?
Look, he's making plays out there, man. I mean, making plays all over the field. They're saying, man, doing great. I mean, just
so is Greg Newsome.
Looking like a new person.
He said so.
Clean slate. It's about the clean slate. And right now, it's like he's taking advantage. Right now, from things I'm hearing about, things I'm seeing, he's taking advantage of that clean slate.
Evan Neal has been killing it at minicamp. He's been pancaking guys. I heard a lot of great things about him. He's moving up the ranks.
I've heard nothing about Evan Neal. I've heard nothing.
I had some good takes on OBJ. You know what I'm saying?
I was making that up. Evan Neal probably not going to be the team.
I think has a great opportunity in front of him. Go ahead, Adam.
I mean,
I do want to hear that, but I also heard that Newsom's doing well. You still got guys like Phillips there. You have a Debo, so he has a tough hill to climb.
Hood is him.
And you got Hood, who's been drafted by this regime. So if I'm keeping 5 DBs, he might make it. He might make it on there because guys like Art Green and the lower end stink. But that's the only reason why I don't think he's going to usurp Newsome, who's having a great camp. I think they're going to keep Phillips out there, and I think Adebo's got too much money to not put him as a starter. And then you got Hood, who's also, making a comeback. I think if they keep 5, Deontay's going to be 5.
I mean, I'm just saying that from everything I'm hearing, I mean, great camp he's having. Been having a great spring period. From whatever. I'm just talking about, like I said, not out there, not actually seeing it myself. Just things I'm reading about, things I'm hearing about, little clips that you see every once in a while. I mean, it just looks like a guy that maybe perhaps the light bulb may have come back on. I mean, Denard Wilson is a D-backs coach before. He was a defensive coordinator. They said he works extensively with the secondary in practices. You know what I mean? So look, whatever it takes, whatever kicking. I'm looking for anybody that's going to come here and be a contributor, man. You're going to be here and be a contributor. That's what it's all about. And if a guy like him can turn his career back around a little bit, I'd rather be here than go off somewhere else and watch him do it somewhere else. So, and then just.
I think Sean McDermott come in and watching practice.
I think it's awesome. I think it's another great defensive mind coming in there, putting his eyes on the product. Can only help you get better, man. It can only can lead to improvement as far as I'm concerned. That's exactly what I mean about the John Harbaugh effect, man. Just the way things are. It's just the air is clear. The air is clear, and guys seem to get it, man. Everybody's bought in. Everybody's on board, and I think everybody's ready to go to war, man. I can't wait till the end of July to see these guys down in West Virginia.
You said McDermott came in and watched practice?
Yeah.
Why don't we
invited?
Why don't we just
I don't know if they're
a defensive consultant or something like that?
I mean, he might. That might end up happening down the road, right? My thing is, if he does get signed, I like as many ex-head coaches on his roster as possible. Not necessarily because of the experience, because I know John Harbaugh is not going to be here, right? So if John Harbaugh in 5 years is gone, but he led us to a championship or built a good team. And he's like, I'm 70. It's been a good ride here. We've won, and Jim Nagy's still around, or Sean McDermott moves up the ranks. I don't have to worry about getting a head coach search. I have them already on the roster, so I can interview those guys and keep it going. Promote from within, so to speak. I think Nagy will get a job. That leaves Greg Roman and a guy like McDermott, who you can make like defensive quality assistant and make him move up the ranks. And then when Wilson leaves for a job because his defense is doing well, guess what? Sean McDermott steps into that position. Then you can say, you know what, John, you're 70. We love you here, but like go retire. You know what I mean? Like Pete Carroll had to retire. I think at a certain point, I want a guy here that's going to be a longer term. So if McDermott, got his shit together and moved up the ranks, maybe he's a little younger to be here and continue on. But I don't have much more, guys. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I was just going through OBJ. OBJ had a couple highlight moments, man. Putting the moves on young Colton Hood, teach them a lot. Welcome to the NFL. Teach them a little lesson out there, coaching them a little bit. Put a double move on them. Took one to the crib, to the house in practice the other day. Just look, I don't know if OBJ's going to actually make this team, guys, but I'm telling you what, he appears to be putting his best foot forward. When they get the pads on it in July, that's going to really start telling a real story, man. I want to see him how he does when he gets some real contact and all of that. I think that's the next step we need to see from OBJ, man, is how he deals with contact and the physicality of the game at this point still. So, I don't really have anything else really either, Zion. If you have any last points you want to.
Oh, I'm just gonna say that was fun. Can't wait for the next finals game. I've been low key watching the Stanley Cup. They have a good series going on with the Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. And we'll see you guys next week. Let's get it. Thank you guys all for watching.
Throw them fours up for our guy NYG Jeffy T. It's been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. We'll see you all next week. Hey!